Good morning. I'm a minute early. Uh, as you can see by my background, I'm not in my usual studio at home, my home studio, my living room. I'm at a motel room in Calgary. No, I'm not in Calgary. I'm in Kelowna. Sorry, not quite with it today. Didn't go to sleep very well. It was too hot. I was itchy. I don't know if anyone's traveled, and all of a sudden the room's too hot, the bed's too hot. I said, what are they washing these sheets with? I'm itchy all over. And so here I am, Sunday morning, with no with my Sunday thought. Can't even think of it. Whoops, I got to be careful. I don't clean on this little table that we've got here. It took me a while to get into the Wi-Fi of the motel room I'm staying at here. But I'd just like to tell you a little story first, why I'm here. Yesterday, first of all, we have a rock fall in the freeway between Penticton, where I live, and Kelowna. Now, most of you know that I now have to visit the cancer clinic, and the cancer clinic, one part of it, one part luckily is in Penticton, that's easy. One part is in Kelowna. And I have an appointment tomorrow morning very early. It takes here by road, and if you go regular road and not horrible back roads, about 3.5 hours to drive. So I'll put my key thinking cap on because yesterday I had a wedding on what there's two ways we can go. They're about the same time period where you kind of get beyond the rock slide. And I had a wedding to do at 3:00. And so anyway, I said to my friend, why don't we go to the wedding, continue on to Kelowna? Then we have a free day in Kelowna, which we never get. And so that's exactly what's happening. We have a free day, except I didn't sleep very well last night because I was too hot and too itchy. So it's kind of weird. Anyhow, I'm here. It's 9:00 now. And I'm reporting on my Sunday. So when we were driving up, it's beautiful, beautiful countryside. We went, if everyone knows where Penticton, it's Highway 3 to Princeton. Then from Princeton, we head north on what's called 5A. Very deserted. Hardly any houses, hardly anything. Lakes, some horses. Yes, horses. And trees. We began to notice a different kind of trees. And then as we came up to the main 97 across, that's the main highway that connects one road with the valley that we live in. So, and which bypassed the rock slide. Now I was driving and we drove and there were just like masses of trees. And then my friend noticed, she said, look at the regrowth. They've replanted here. And I said, well, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to replant. And she sort of made a no, sorry for the ups and downs. Keep my feet away from the bottom of this table, and my hands away from the table too. And so, anyway, we were looking at all these beautiful trees growing, beautiful color green, all shapes and sizes. There was some other kinds of trees which I forget what they are, but they're more deserty in the desert area before we hit the freeway going to bring us back down and towards Kelowna. And then I heard that someone who shall remain nameless wants to cut down like mega acres of trees based on climate change. And I thought in my head, I've known this since I was a kid. Did I learn it in school? Probably. There is an economic, that's why they want to cut the trees down. There's an ecology that goes on between trees and humans. Trees eat up carbon dioxide. They make oxygen. What do you think we breathe? When we breathe oxygen, and then if we have the carbon dioxide, we breathe it out, and the trees eat it up. There is a balance here. It has nothing to do with climate change. It has to do with living. It has to do with being alive. And there was I remember how many years ago, I don't know, it was 20, 30 years, there was a big movement to plant trees along the freeways in the US. So they would be making more oxygen so that we would be able to breathe. So why would somebody who surely understands this wants to cut down acres of trees? Why? That does not make any sense to anybody who has half a brain, as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. And I find that a lot, this whole thing about climate change. You know, I was married, my first husband was a geography major, and he taught me a lot about how the balance of the earth works. Talk to people, like, there's lots of people out there that have this knowledge. Climate change is cyclical. We have cold times, hot times, we have dry times, but there's always on our earth seeking balance. When people interfere with the weather, which according to some reports, a thing called HARP does that, other things do that, excuse me, we interrupt the weather. When we interrupt the weather, people say it's climate change. I'm sorry. I've been around now for quite a long time. In fact, a long time. A lot of people don't live as long as I have lived so far. And climate change does not make sense if you don't look at the circular turn of climate. I grew up in a country with volcanoes, all dead at the time when I was first born. As the years went by, and now most of those volcanoes now do something, except one. One has never lit up yet. I say yet because volcanoes are never really dead. I live in a town that has volcanoes all around it, but no one knows because they're not lit up yet. I know that can possibly, but I grew up very fascinated with volcanism, how volcanoes work. Now, how I got from trees to volcanoes, I don't know. But I do know that that's part of the cycle of things, part of the earth going through its change. I'm beginning to think that those in control somewhere, whoever that may be, have forgotten that nature is a living thing, that it lives, it pulses. Those of us that ever gone into meditation or looked at or beaten out the beat of the earth. Now, to me, the beat of the earth is very slow. Whenever I have gone into the earth, communed with the earth, worked with the earth, the beat is very, very slow. It's not fast. There is a rhythm. And then when one discovers that rhythm, I find I tend to be, I've always been a little bit of a mover. So not really with the rhythm. It was very important for me to slow down and breathe. To breathe. Even the air going in and out contributes, because the air going out contributes to the trees, so that gives us more oxygen, which is my main thing going on. When you go anywhere where you see a lot of trees, you're going to feel better if you're outside. Now, we weren't outside. We were in a car moving through it. But if you go outside and just feel the greenery around you, especially trees, you begin to feel a whole sense of aliveness, healthier, breathing in deeper. It's not like city life where there's a lot of smog still and things like that. But I'm one that says go for the trees. If you can put trees around, if you can make trees be there in your yards, wherever, you're going to feel better, you're going to be better. And I honestly do not believe it has anything to do with climate change. Oh, scientists will prove that I'm incorrect. But I've lived a long time now. And I have been in many different types of environment. I've traveled a lot. I've traveled to many, many places in the world. And I know some places where they really has to strive to make their trees grow, and they're revered because they've got a tree growing. Other times where I live, where we can stick something in the ground and it grows. Those are different climates. Doesn't mean it has to do with climate change. So I want you to begin to appreciate trees. If you have any around you, just take a moment and say thank you, because it is helping you to breathe better, clearer, and realize they're just doing their job. They have nothing to do with the changes that happen naturally. And that's the thing they're beginning to talk about, the natural rhythm of this planet that we live on, this planet that we have a lot to be grateful for. Well, I am very grateful for being in this motel room where I can't touch anything because I'll make a wiggle but my time is up, and I'm hoping, it's a hope and a prayer, that I'm back at home for tomorrow night's mental mind treatments, because we don't know how long my interview will be tomorrow morning. And then we have 3.5 hour drive back home. I apologize if for some reason I don't make it, because I won't have a way to say so. I did promise if I wasn't going to make it at any point, I would put it up on Facebook and make a short video saying that. I will try and do that if I have a rough idea that no, we're not going to make 7 o'clock. But, I'm a pretty determined woman in lots of ways, so I'm going to do my best to be there. In the meantime, I want you to have a great day. Sunday, if you're into tennis, big male final. I believe there's also a big football game starting up again, a new season. There's lots of things happening anyway. Take care, lots of love, and give thanks to the trees. Thank you. I don't know if I know how to get out of here. This is not my machine. And here we are. In. Oh gosh, why doesn't it? It's my machine, but it's not where I am, and it's just not wanting to do what the stream will stop immediately, and you will. There we go. It just takes long. Okay, guys. If I'm still on, I'm going to be right out the wrong way, but I'm going to say leave.